All right, Submission Underground going down this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, UFC Fight Pass. There's the plug. Let's get into it, though, a little bit. There is two really interesting matches. First off, let me back you up to a personal experience. I was in Hawaii. Bellator was getting ready to do back-to-back shows. USO Tours. It's just great week that everybody in Bellator looks forward to. Everybody all year pines and positions to be included on this Hawaii trip. So I'm on the Hawaii trip, and one of the great things is you're in Hawaii. So my wife and I go out, and we have a nice dinner with Big John and his wife. We go to this Japanese restaurant, and in my area, it's like a Benihana's. And I always call it Benihana anytime it's the same kind of style, which is you sit down, and you might be sitting with people who you didn't even come with. Random people. You'll sit down, and there's a big grill, and the guy cooks everybody's food in front of you. You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. So we have this, it's just delicious when they do that. Rice, they make the fried rice right in front of you, the steak. And quite frankly, the food isn't like the most wonderful taste. But the food is very good in conjunction with the ambiance, the experience, and the atmosphere. Oh, it's a great night out. Great company with the McCarthys. And we leave and they go their way. And my wife and I are going to go and get some ice cream. More on principle of the fact that you can, at 9 o'clock, be in a place that's so warm that you could have an ice cream. So we go do that, and this guy comes up to me. And the guy walks up to me as though we had known each other. And we may have, but I got a really good memory on that, and I'm quite certain that we had never met. But he talks to me like I'm an old friend, which is cool. This is cool. I'm in the middle of I don't know anybody. A guy comes up, starts talking to me like we're old friends. And he says, and so we're visiting a little bit, and he says, I really like to go against Jake Shields. Says, I'd like to come out to Submission Underground and take on Jake Shields. That's a match I've always wanted. Well, somebody approaching me on the street and calling out Jake Shields, nobody wants to go against Jake Shields. You go against Jake when you get a phone call and you have to go against nobody calls out Jake Shields. So I'm going, whoa, who is this guy? And he looks like a really nice guy, but he's got some edge to him. This guy looks like a rough guy, but I don't know who he is. He did not come up to me and say his name. And if we had met somewhere in the past, maybe he looked different or maybe it was a little dark out, but I don't know what just happened. But I get things like this all the time. You stay polite and you go on about your life. Well, I go back to the room and I'm finishing up my ice cream and I open up my Twitter and this guy has sent out a tweet. And Jake Shields has already responded to the tweet. Oh, by the way, this guy's a legend. Richie Martinez, they call him the Boogeyman. This guy's like a cult hero amongst the 10th Planet system. High-level black belt under Eddie Bravo. But he's also an instructor and a leader. He was at the Bellator because he's cornering guys. Very well-respected guy that's willing to put everything on the line to go into a match that nobody can win. It's not a knock on the Boogeyman. Nobody's beaten Jake Shields. So that match happened sure as hell. The Boogeyman got over on Jake. And so the Boogeyman has arrived, and you should have heard the crowd. I mean, when he came out, when I tell you this guy is a cult hero amongst the jiu-jitsu community, I am not exaggerating that anymore. So he doesn't want anything to do with anything. This guy's not hard to deal with. He doesn't need an extra ticket or a t-shirt. He doesn't need anything. He just needs a match. And he's made that very clear. I just want match. Okay. That we can do. The rest of it could be that we can do. Well, he's going to be taking on Austin Vanderford. Now, you will largely know Austin Vanderford as being Paige Van Zant's husband because he loves to call himself Mr. Van Zant just to annoy everybody, but this guy's also amassed an 8-0 perfect professional record. He's doing that over 2 different weight classes. He's been competing at Bellator at 170 pounds, decides he's going to move up to middleweight, of which I believe he's staying. This is his new home. He hadn't lost a fight at middleweight either. In between, he's catching grappling masters. He's just one of these guys that can't get enough competition. And he's not a bully. We could give him Craig Jones. He'll go take on Craig Jones. Even if he's quite sure he's not going to make it 2 minutes with Craig, he'll go do the match. He is not scared to compete. He's one of these guys. Very similar to the Boogeyman. Okay, these guys are going to go at it. And this is going to be a very interesting match because 10th Planet, at least just within our area, I'll just speak to you about Portland, but 10th Planet and Gracie Baja, they just can't get it right. Gracie Baja has now become an American Top Team. American Top Team and 10th Planet, they just can't get it right. For whatever reason. but it does make for some fun matches. Now, when you got the Boogeyman, who's a high-level, highly respected, fully committed grappling black belt, taking on Austin, who's a fully committed athlete, but has to spend half of his time in the Bellator cage and half of his time in the Submission Underground cage, who is a brown belt, it just becomes an interesting match. They also have a common opponent, which is Jake Shields. Boogie beat Jake Shields. Austin lost to Jake Shields, but it was razor close. So these guys are going to go grapple. That's only your co-main event. That's your warm-up. I haven't even mentioned Gabriel taking on Jake Ellenberger. That's going to be a great match. And Jake Ellenberger's also got one heck of a chip on his shoulder because he came out and took a devastating upset in his own mind. In all fairness, I don't know that he should be all that devastated. Took on Ben Egley, but he was supposed to win. He was the big name, and he did get upset, and he's not happy about it. He didn't leave Portland. By the way, Jake Ellenberger, when he lost to Ben Egley, was so dead set that he be put on the next card that he did not leave Portland. Jake, we've extended the hotel. We've changed the flight. Okay, you got to go. We will bring you back for the next show, but you have every right to go home to your family. You staying in town and running a boycott will not change the fact that you're on the next card. So Ellenberger in a good mood isn't a lot of fun to deal with. Ellenberger in a bad mood, this could be a very interesting match. Then you get into the main event. I put this, guys, and I don't feel that I'm doing any promoting here. I think this is the biggest grappling match that could be put on right now. And I will tell you for sure, speaking for myself, it is. This is the one. For me, this is the one. I promoted John Jones versus Dan Henderson. That was great. That was action-packed. That was a wonderful night of business. That was great. That's number 2. This is the one right here. Craig Jones, the biggest star in grappling. That's a fact. I see the numbers. I know who draws what. I know who moves the needle. I can tell you for sure the biggest star in grappling is Craig Jones. Fine. Sure, that doesn't surprise you guys. I cannot tell you with a straight face that he is the greatest grappler. He might be. But there's a guy named Vinny. And there's something about Vinny. And there is a 3-way dance that has been going on for 3 years now. And you can debate it any which way you want. You're going to have the same 3 guys. Is it Gordon Ryan, who's the best? Is it Craig Jones, who's the best? Is it Vinny, who's the best? Vinny already beat Gordon. If Craig beats Vinny, Craig gets to stay in the debate. But since Vinny beat Gordon, if Vinny beats Craig... Oh, that wasn't meant to be the finger that stood up. You get the point, though. There is no more argument. The argument ends. If you want the debate to stay alive, if you're a Vinny hater, if you're a Gordon lover, if you're a Craig lover, any which way you come from it, this is still what's at stake. If Vinny beats Craig Jones, the debate is over on who the greatest grappler alive is. It is over. I didn't bring these 3 names to you guys, so don't try to rewrite this after the fact. You brought these names to me. I was second on this. You guys brought the names to me. Vinny, Gordon, Craig. Everybody's touched everybody. Everybody's gone at it in the round robin except Vinny and Craig. The best grappler in the world gets settled. It gets settled. New debate's going to have to form, but this conversation that's lasted for 3 years of Vinny, Gordon, and Craig and this 3-way round robin dance that has gone on, it comes to an end Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern only on UFC Fight Pass.